Will, have you heard about Jude Bellingham?
I have heard of him, yes.
I can't stop hearing about him.
Yeah, he's
he
everywhere.
seems to be ripping it up. I don't know if he was renowned for his goal-scoring prowess in Germany, but he seems to be filling the Benzema hole pretty ably for a number 5.
Yeah. Well, like you said, he's a number 5 and a number 7 and a number 8. They all add up to his real number.
The Clasico was on this weekend. Real Madrid won, and Bellingham had a starring role, scoring yet another goal.
2 goals, in fact. He scored the equaliser, and then he scored the winner in, I think, the 89th minute, 98th minute.
Wearing Zidane's jersey number and putting up Benzema's goal-scoring numbers in your first season at 20 in a new country. It's you know that cliche like, oh, this football arc is pretty easy for you. I've never seen somebody just like be a duck to water so much in a new club.
Especially at Madrid, where famously no one can handle the pressure of.
Yeah,
look what happened to Beckham, for fuck's sake.
Beckham put that league on his back.
Yeah.
Brought it to new heights. You know, brought fame to Real Madrid. Will won the league all with the help of just a mere 25 goals from Ruben Nistelrooy.
I have seen non-stop though. I think if I see any more, I might scream. I guess Birmingham weren't wrong to retire his jersey. How are we wrong to say that about them? It was still insane for them to do that.
Also, I've rarely heard anybody say that.
I've seen that loads.
I haven't seen anyone go, idiots, what, don't retire the jersey. It's like, there's nothing at stake.
Yeah, it's like, oh, how we laughed.
We proved you all wrong. It's like, what have you gained from this?
It is like he's banging in goals for Madrid, and people are saying, you know what this reminds me of? Birmingham. So far removed.
If it was like, oh, they were right to add on that 20% sell-on clause, like, okay, yeah, well, I could see that makes more sense. But like, retiring the jersey doesn't. No one is like, oh, you fools, why would you do that? Now you can't use that number again. Like, it's just a number.
No, honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense.
They say many garbage things.
You don't know what you're going to get.
Melodrama upon melodrama.
This is a
Shameful, disgraceful piece of nonsense.
Because he was miles off it yesterday.
You'll learn a lot more if you listen rather than talk all
Plenty
the
of
time.
time, no problem.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a No Nonsense podcast with Cahill and Will. I am half a man, as Michael Antoni would say. Half a man.
Half of a man. He's half of a man now. Like, I would like, that's how I would describe it. He is half of a man now.
Or, as everyone else would say, a shell of a man, a shell of a former self. 2 weddings in the week, Will. You know, it's been great. But it's been a lot, you know.
That is a lot.
You could say, well, Carl, did you have to drink all of them? No, I didn't have to drink all of them, but I did, okay? I did, and I drank to excess. And I'm feeling the results of that today.
Yeah, because it's not just 2 weddings. The 2 weddings means 2 day 2s.
It's always day 2s these days, you know, which is great. Honestly, the day 2, it was all fun, you know, it was all great. And like I say, at the time, there was no complaints, you know.
Yeah.
Another round, you know.
No, I don't think I will. This is my 4th day drinking this week.
No, yeah, didn't. Well, I think I did pace myself, but it's all just it's a lot, you know. I'm weddinged out now for a while, so please, all the fans, no more invites. Stop inviting me to weddings. It's too much. I can't go at all.
We want you both to do the speech. They keep saying.
Yeah, they want me to do officiate it, you know, like Joey and Friends. That time, remember
Could you
everybody?
fill the wedding with no nonsense references, please? I can't. We don't do weddings. We're sick of saying it.
Yeah, no more requests here. But yeah, no, it's another week, Will, where I haven't watched the games really.
Yeah. It's a new style for the pod.
I watched Man City versus Man United, though, Will, in a pub with the sound off.
Classic.
You know, but I got
football should be watched.
Hey, a lot of people would agree with that sentiment. You know, forget the commentators, forget the little tidbits throughout the game, or the biased co-coms saying what should be happening.
or any of the context when the players just start standing around after a goal.
Who needs it? Who needs it? It's any stoppages these days anyway, so I can just figure it out, you know. Haaland was under a lot of pressure actually recently, Will. People saying he's finished, he's cooked, he hasn't scored every game. What's going on? What's Pep up to, you know? But he comes back in this game. Scored 2, could have had another couple. He put on a plate for Foden at the end, and I know you were watching it, but there's a few angry Man United fans in the pub where I was.
I could imagine. I knew it was bad when I was angry about the penalty decision.
Yeah.
And it's been a long time since I've been angry about a decision. So I was like, oh no, this game is really going to do damage to my mental health. Because normally I've gotten to the stage where I don't really care, but for some reason this one dragged me back in.
They're very good though, Will, I have to say. I mean, there was a moment there where like yesterday's man, forgotten man, Jack Grealish, absolutely sent Amrabat to the shops.
Yeah.
Without even touching the ball, just
Cooked.
moved his body. Cooking, another cooking. Put that in the cookbook.
That's a good fucking name.
That could be. That's what we should have done last episode. We said, anyways, this is how the podcast works. You don't watch the games, you don't prepare, you just say things. You go, oh, that would have been good last episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're always an episode behind.
An episode behind our own show. Figure that one out, folks. Figure that one out. No, it was tough to watch all these City squad players coming on just wreaking havoc in Old Trafford.
Yes. I've never, well, not that I've never heard, but I don't think it's a long time since I've heard the City fans in such full voice with their new chant. Did you hear it?
No.
Old Trafford is falling down. Ten Hag is a fucking clown. Glazers staying 10 more years. Man City are on the beers. And they sang it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again in Old Trafford. While, which is pointed out after the game, there was a huge gaping leak in the roof while Man United were losing 3-0 to Man City.
Yeah, well, that's what makes good chants good. Well, they're true.
Yeah, and they're infuriating.
Yeah, the best jokes hurt the most. The truest jokes hurt the most. I mean, I give them that's a good chant, you know. Wordy, but not too wordy. You know, I like that. Will they couldn't rely on Maguire to save them this time? Will
no, and Onana gave it his best shot.
Yeah,
it was, funnily enough, probably his best game, even though he conceded 3. Yeah, and he also had 2 howlers as well, which he didn't concede for him, but he made a lot of good saves.
Yeah, you're kind of on a bad trend when someone like Maguire, who he like openly tried to kick out of the club.
Yeah,
and McTominay not too long ago either. They're the ones who were like coming back and getting last minute winners. Like, okay, like this was obviously not part of your plan. You know.
Yeah.
So what was your plan, and why you have to turn to these guys that you thought weren't good enough? And Onana obviously was only just by and a lot of players come in, they start badly. I wouldn't say that's necessarily an indication of Ten Hag, but I mean, yeah, this I think was kind of your real test. Like, okay, things have been going well, good results, but you know, are you any good? Answer is yes, but not good enough to trouble City at all.
Yeah, there was 2 damning things I think for Ten Hag in this one. One was United were probably, arguably, maybe the better team for about half an hour. Then they conceded the penalty.
Yeah.
Then they went in at half time and he made tactical changes and they came out much worse than they were in the half before. Everything was so much easier for City because of the changes he made.
The reverse Brighton, they call it.
Yeah, exactly. And another damning thing, which was after the game, in the post-match conference, Ten Hag was asked, you know, how long do you think it's going to take until you can get this team playing like your old Ajax team? And he said, oh, no. This team can never play like that. This is totally a different thing. You know, it's different worlds. But then I was thinking, he signed strictly ex-Ajax players who he had. So, like, well, then what is the plan? Why are you signing those players if you're not trying to make the play that way?
Well, once you that was a tough question, a loaded question, I'd say. Because, like, give me a time frame, and then once you commit the time frame, it's like, well, it's been 8 months, 10.
10.
I love calling him Ten Hag. It reminds me of when Mattress Mick was on like some kind of town hall thing with Pat Kenny, and he called him. And we have here, of course, Mattress Mick. Tell me, Mattress Mick. Tell me, Ten Hag. What's happening? Why is this going so poorly for you? Yeah, he tried to corner there with to put a number on it, and like say, it's one of those questions that you say, "Oh, well, never." It's like right. It's like have you stopped beating your wife yet?
Yeah.
There's no right answer. It's like when will this be right? It's like, and especially when it's going badly and you don't think they ever can.
Yeah.
But he's right. I mean, you can't be looking at Ajax that we have to play like that. They're their own players. No, a lot of them are the same players, but you have to just kind of figure out your own way. It's a different league. It is completely different. But I was watching as well. I was like, "Fuck's sake!" After, because like they're just going to win the league again, aren't they? Like,
That's all I thought.
It's just because someone said to me, "Oh, United fans." Like, no, just kind of an anti-City fan at this point.
Yeah.
Do you remember that when we were growing up? There was ABUs.
Oh yeah, that was a big thing.
Like AVCs.
Much better name.
Much better name, but I mean,
But now I think people are so blinded by the top 4 race and things like that they can't see, the forest for the trees, because they're not thinking City are going to win 10 in a row. They're thinking, we came 4th.
Yeah, I think if you're a Liverpool fan, you came 3rd, you're like, that's brilliant. That's automatic Champions League qualification, or like, fuck's sake, Arsenal won or United won. Well, we haven't won in years.
Exactly.
They didn't care about Champions League, but like, yeah, I think it's smart because like, thought those United winning years, like I say, a lot of people were kind of like, oh, this is just boring in a way, whereas they said like, no, it's not boring. You've made 3rd place, which is huge, convinced people that it was worth watching, even though there's one team winning most of the leagues. It was the same now with City. It's like they will probably win this one again, and the money is still there, still endless. Pep seems happy enough staying in the job, I'd say. So I mean, I think Tottenham are doing well. Arsenal are doing okay as well, but you can't.
For how long?
How long? It's a matter of time, but enjoy it, mate.
Exactly.
Enjoy it while you can, because it will come to an end.
That is also what Big Ange has now been saying every week.
Every week now he's saying that, yeah.
He's saying like, look, it might not last, but this is what's important, the right now.
Yeah.
But really what he's saying is, it's not going to be like this, May.
Yeah, I mean, and that's another thing that people hold on to. It's like, okay, wherever City are going to win, but either Arsenal or United or Liverpool are going to think they're going to win, and other clubs just waiting down, guys, because here it comes, wait for it now, we're almost in April, and they'll go, you fool, you thought you were going to win the league against them, you idiot.
Yeah. That's what it's all about now. That's the beautiful game.
Yeah, that's the new 4th place trophy, is seeing your rival think they're going to beat City, but they won't. And you can laugh at them.
8 points off.
Bottlers, you absolute bottlers. You bottled the whole bottling bottle. Yeah.
They've won 7 in a row because of you.
It's a miserable existence being a football fan like that. Thankfully, Will, that's not us. We love just football. Football is really
the game. The game. I don't even need to. Don't show me the league table. Turn it off.
No, games, highlights, no. I'm more concerned with financial fair play, though. That's the big one. Speaking of City, I suppose they have 115 on deck when to go, but some clever financial footwork versus Everton's blatant cheating.
Because they're little Everton, and therefore they can't get away with one, not a single one.
Yeah, they have one charge, and it's been taken pretty seriously. Maybe if City had one big charge, it would be easier to try and make out, okay, what's going on here? 115 is so many, It's like,
where do you start?
Where do you even start with something that big, Maybe there's just work in the way. They're probably like 82 right now, and they're getting to the bottom of that one, Because everything is pretty clear. They spent a lot of money on bad players that didn't work out, paid a lot of money.
Something's wrong.
Paid a lot of money in wages, and they've won nothing and haven't even qualified for anything to make money. So, they're in real trouble. Because you're only allowed to lose 105 million. Well, not you're only allowed. It depends how much you generate. You can only lose a certain amount versus that. Whereas they've lost like 400 million or something like that. So 300 million above. It's very blatant kind of, you knew the rules here. You have a strict amount you can lose, and you've gone way over it. And they look like they're kind of fucked now.
So the Premier League has reportedly recommended that Everton should be hit with a 12-point deduction if found guilty of breaching its financial fair play rules. Again, that's the Premier League saying this.
Recommending to
themselves.
other
In a
people
big
in
mirror.
the Premier League. I don't know. It feels like a politician. When the COVID, they're saying it might be 30 days more of this, and people go, that's too much. But who said that? That wasn't us. That was leaked from some other liar, and then they would,
Yeah, so they made losses of you're only allowed a maximum of 105 million over a 3-year period, and Everton recorded losses of more than 430 million pounds in that period, mostly related to their new stadium. So they were probably thinking, it's different. That's not a transfer.
Maybe a few sponsors fell through or something. God knows, but they've really messed up, it seems.
Yes, it said that Everton responded with, Everton is prepared to robustly defend its position to the Commission. The club has, over several years, provided information to the Premier League in an open and transparent manner and has consciously chosen to act with the utmost good faith at all times. And the Premier League are saying, no, cheers. We didn't read that email.
Well, if you're openly cheating, it doesn't make it any better, does it? Like, if you're like, we've been transparent with the money we've been spending, it's like, yeah, well, we've just calculated and it's too much. I mean,
that's the rule, idiot.
Just because you weren't like actively trying to hide this, I mean, okay, that's not as bad, but like, if you still spend too much, I mean, I think that I heard as well they were blaming a lot on COVID.
Yeah.
Which every club had COVID. So you can't really, why hasn't every club lost 400 million, and that was a couple of years ago now. So I think, look, they're in trouble at the moment. They're been circling the drain a little bit, even before Frank Lampard came in, if you can believe that.
Yeah. They are, I was watching them at the end of them against West Ham the other day, which they got a big win against.
Huge win.
But it felt like watching like the Burnley of old with Sean Dyche, where it was like, wow, 1-0 against West Ham. I can't believe they managed to pull this off. Forgetting you're kind of talking about Everton.
Yeah.
never been relegated, one of the oldest clubs in England, like huge fan base, new stadium on the way. It's madness.
Yeah, he's lowered the expectation massively of a club like Everton, which doesn't actually. That's all they wanted. They wanted them to make them defensively solid, and then they could get in somebody good.
Yeah,
and then
now it's like when they do win, it's like, wow, we managed a point off fucking Brighton. That's huge for us.
Yeah,
you need more.
They've turned every game to a 6-pointer now. It's like this should be huge. They're not going to win many more. It's like, why not?
It's fucking October.
Shouldn't they have some kind of plan to win games? Like
the 3 teams that came up are all terrible.
Yeah, I mean, you could see he boss Tarkovsky, and he boss your man, the winger. I don't think he actually did buy Tarkovsky. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he was there before. But and what I'm saying is his connections seem to be former Burnley players. He's not got kind of a European scouting system in place, and I don't think any manager at Everton seem to have that either. So I mean, he doesn't seem to have brought that with him. There isn't a lot in place to kind of build this new team. So I don't know how they're going to go. Like I said, they won there the weekend. They're on 10 points now. If they were to get this recommended 12-point deduction, that would put them on -2.
Yes.
2 points behind Sheffield, 6 points behind Burnley, and 7 points behind.
And with a manager who ekes out draws.
So again, it's October, but if this happened right now, and said, just get out of the way. But if this was to happen even 3 or 4 weeks time, the longer it goes on, it's worse and worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if they're going to get it, you'd say, look, give it to us now, or maybe put it on to next season. But if they get them December, halfway through, it's an absolute,
the fight is over. Yeah, they're done.
Gut punch. It's going to be a gut punch at any time, but don't leave it any longer than it is. If the thing is that they have just spent too much money and there's no getting out of it, if you've been as transparent as you say, it's all there in black and white, then just take it and try and claw it back. But the longer you leave it, you're just getting.
I do have a tinfoil hat theory. If you want to pop it on,
go on. Hang on. Just go.
You have it ready. Ooh, a new style.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Roman helmet. Yeah.
We talked a few weeks ago about how Chelsea's secret plan was apparently to just blatantly break the rules until they get a transfer ban. But by then, they'll have all the players anyway.
Yeah.
So it won't matter. Do you think this is the Premier League trying to show that, hey, we go straight to point deductions here. No transfer bans. Chelsea, are you watching?
Oh, right. Yeah, to try and scare Chelsea into, I don't know.
Stopping? I don't know.
Unsigning those players.
It seems mad that Everton are going to get a 12-point deduction for spending 400 million over 3 years.
Yeah.
When Chelsea have very clearly spent, I think, like 1.3 billion in 3 summers on just players.
Yeah, well, the whole thing was that if it's about not spending how much more than you make.
Yeah, it's the profit margin.
The profit margin. So, I mean, I think they're like, hey, we like money. We love money in the Premier League. We just don't want clubs to spend too much and go bust and have every call it's a tin pot league, you know.
Yeah.
All flash.
We loved when Leeds were in the league and then they were gone.
Yeah, we don't want that to happen to people. People say this is a financially unstable institution. It's not, you know. We have rules.
Yeah, we don't want anyone talking about the bubble.
But if the tinfoil hat thing is on, maybe it's because everyone's saying the same thing as well. It's like, okay, whatever Everton, like, yeah, old club, blah, blah, but like, if they get done, then City have to get done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's no way, even if 114 of the charges turn out to be fake, at least 3 of them have to be real.
Well, that's it. Like, I mean, I think Jamie Carragher said the City will find themselves in the Conference League North or whatever. If
yeah,
by this logic,
if it's points deductions,
12 points per reduction per charge. You don't 12 by 115. I mean, you'd be like down all the divisions. So yeah, I think if it's just Everton taking one for the greater good here, you know, let United and Arsenal back at the top. You know, the greater good.
Yeah. Beautiful game.
That's what people want. Yeah, I mean that's what people point to, that City will surely have a precedent set there. Then that, like, if you're going to deduct, if you're going to punish them at all, if you're going to punish Everton at all for this, then surely, you know,
it can't be one for them, different for everyone else.
No, because City had this irrefutable evidence. Remember that whole thing? Where'd that go?
Yeah, if it was evidence, post it.
It was irrefutable evidence. Just put it out there, then, you know. Maybe legally
case closed.
But I mean, if it was just leak it, you know, like literally, like, irrefutable to me is like they have the wrong club. It was
it was the wrong Manchester club.
Yeah, you know, it was actually Leicester City, not Manchester City. It's a typo. That's irrefutable evidence. Like case closed kind of stuff. But yeah, no word of it, and I'd say it's just tied up in whatever politics, office politics, league politics, God knows. But I mean, I haven't heard a thing about it since, except for bitter people like us who keep bringing it up. You know,
it's so annoying though. Again, seeing City just steamroll Man United again at Old Trafford is so irritating. But sure, it's fake. They're not allowed.
They're not allowed to do this. This isn't fair.
That was also. With that loss, United have now lost more games in Old Trafford in the time since Fergie retired than they did in his entire 26-year stint at Man United.
Great stat. Really good stat.
That's good stat, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's just one that says Man United have been bad for a while, you know, which I don't need a stat to tell me that, Will.
It is funny then seeing like the likes of Neville and Carragher having the same debate again of like, oh, it's the owners. No, it's the players. It's this. It's like, it's everything. It's been everything for fucking years now.
Yeah, it's not just one thing. People have to just like pin it on one thing. Like, if you just, because that way you fix that one thing, it'll be all right again. It's like, no, it's a multifaceted problem on all levels. It's like, oh no, that means it's going to take
Give
years.
over.
It's like you only hear like a government plan, like, oh, they're going to build this bit of infrastructure, like an underground river. It's ready by like 2050. Like, oh, sure, like I won't get to use it then. You know? I want it fixed now. I want the things now.
But then they put in a new pass near your house. They're like, wow, the council have really pulled it out of the bag this time.
Yeah, that's the small wins. That's the Champions League group stages wins. It's like, oh, a new paths. That pothole needs fixing, and they fixed it. That's fucking the kind of politics I like. Yeah, no, we don't. The big problems we want, quick solutions, but it never is. So I mean, yeah, I don't know where it all ends up for. What are they, 10th now?
I think so. Yeah.
10th. Tottenham's still storming it.
Yeah.
The
vibes are still off the charts.
Despite Ange Postecoglou reminding people that the good times will end and soon, and to just enjoy it and close your eyes. Don't look behind you, just look ahead of you.
Most clubs want to turn their grounds into a fortress. Ours is becoming a nightclub, mate. And I'm all for it. Whatever makes people happy, that's fine.
Yeah, no, he's a great, a lot of good sound bites, and it doesn't seem forced. It seems just
it seems like a nice,
it's part of it. But the signings, I don't think anybody really thought Maddison was going to have the effect he had. I mean, he was excellent for Leicester. I don't think anybody denied that he was really, really good. But I think I wouldn't have thought Tottenham were a good enough team to just put him in, and then he would just transfer. Like sometimes you could see a team and they go, they're just a couple players away. I didn't think Tottenham were like a couple players away. And especially if you said take out Kane and put in Maddison, he's not going to replace Kane, but he's done that playmaking role that Kane did. And then they're getting goals from Son as well, who's really stepped up as well. So they're a really good team at the moment. But it's just not going to last, is it?
I don't think so.
You can't look past City. You'd be a fool, Will. And I'd be damned. I'm called a fool in April for saying that City aren't going to win the league.
Yeah. No, now you've been through it physically, like I've been through it before. Now we know. We're like veterans of what it's like. Spurs fans, they'll come for you next.
Yeah, I think I said this before, but I'm eagerly awaiting how people will treat Spurs when they blow it.
Yeah,
because literally Arsenal, from Liverpool and United have all gone through it now in recent years. Where is there going to be any empathy? You gave it a good go, lads. Because they busted. Is anybody who actually is going to be like, "Ha, he lost the City," or is it just going to be like, you know what? They're fuckers. Don't mind them, right? And keep your head up, Spurs.
At this stage of last season, it felt like people were being like, "Oh my god, are Arsenal actually going to win the league? This is insane." No one's saying that about Spurs.
No, because they're still doing well and they're not that far
Exactly.
off. Whereas Arsenal were building a bit of a lead. I was like, if they don't pull out the bag soon, then there's nobody else. I mean, it's a clear run out of here.
Yeah, this year everyone is very close. Well, not everyone, but I think Liverpool, Arsenal, City, Spurs are all within 2 or 3 points of each other, so
Yeah,
no one's pulled away yet. But give it time.
it always comes into a race between two in the end, anyways.
Yeah.
There's never 3 or 4 teams going for it. Just within a few points of each other, someone always falls away. I mean, look at Newcastle now, and the Champions League is taking a bit of a toll on it, just because the players are getting injured and getting banned for 10 months because of gambling. These things happen.
These things happen to all the clubs.
You saw that they brought him on actually there in, I think, the Champions League game, or was it, at the weekend actually, was it?
Another lap of honour.
Another kind of we're with you kind of a weird thing. I mean,
He did it.
yeah.
It's so weird.
Just before you put that tin foil hat away, a lot of people are saying, AC Milan did this. They knew, they knew what was happening. They sold a dud player. It's I don't know. I mean, he knew, I guess, but he didn't think he was going to get caught. I mean, you never do.
No, that's why you do it.
That's why you break the rules. You don't think you get caught. That can never be me. I don't think there was any real conspiracy that we'll sell him on just as he's about to get caught by the cops here.
Yeah,
but they're seemingly backing their man. I mean, 10 months time. That's just the start of next season, really, isn't it?
Yes, he is different to Tony though, because he is allowed to train with Newcastle for the whole period, where Ivan Toney was banned from all football-related activities. I don't know the difference between the two, but apparently that's what happened.
I see that Ivan Toney played a challenge game with Brentford there during the international break. Did you see that?
No, is that allowed?
It wasn't a competitive game. It was just a practice game during the international break. So most of the players were gone. It was just him and a few of the ones who were not captain international. So I don't know, Will. I mean, he looks like he's going to go again. The same as the Everton thing. Start it now and just get out of the way, because the longer you leave, then you're going to be coming half to the next season. But I think, Newcastle are look at that thinking, right, he's only 23, I think he is.
He's young, yeah.
So, make sure.
Still another 4 years of his contract to go.
Like when Ferdinand got that ban, it's like, okay, yeah, we missed him for a bit, but like he'll be back and for the future, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think Tonali is Champions League level quality. Maybe, you know, again, if some better comes along, he'll be replaced just like everyone else. But I think he's near enough the top. He could be in a Champions League winning midfield with maybe better players, but I think he's at that level. So I think that's probably what their plan is. I mean, the Newcastle fans are obviously, you know, it's us against the world, so you know they're just continue backing him. But I did think playing him was a big statement. Like, yeah, we don't care about the rules. You know, we're backing our man. Like,
they've got to stop doing that.
I mean, it's just very like that's how you make enemies in FIFA anyway. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like, you're just like openly like Brentford. You know, they didn't back. Like they backed him to an extent, but didn't parade him around or like hold up Ivan Toney's jersey before the game or anything like, you know, justice for Tony, because like he did it. You know,
he did it.
Yes, there may be addiction involved, but it wasn't like he was, you know, not compelled to do these things, or he could have bet something else. There is addiction involved, so there has to be some sympathy and empathy for him.
But it's not for the club to say.
You don't, but like, you can have empathy privately, but there's no need to go like, the parade on the pitch is very like, you know,
yeah,
he's being taken away, you know. It's like,
look what they're doing to our big signing.
Look what they're doing to our boy, you know, but we'll back him, even if they won't. It's like, you know, it's they broke the rules that you've agreed to as a club, you know, so.
He was backing his own team in games he was playing.
Like, and again, like say the addiction or whatever, but like it was very black and white. He broke the rules and then admitted to it, and then you're like acting like there's been some kind of like, oh, they're out to get us, you know, like, and they didn't say that obviously, but that was the kind of,
that's the idea, yeah.
Like playing him in that game, bringing him on that game is very much like, you know, he's still part of our plans. Don't worry, don't mind those charges. You'll be back stronger. It's like,
yeah, one last ovation.
Yeah, I think that might come against Newcastle down the road.
Yeah, when their challenges inevitably come.
Yeah, but what we've seen from City is if you have infinite money, that does equate pretty nicely to infinite power in these things.
Yeah, I should have said when Newcastle's charges are inevitably brought up eventually, not when they ever take place.
Yeah, so maybe they're fine. Maybe they're just immune to these things and they can do what they want. But I just thought this is how you become the next City. This is how you become people like, these guys don't care. They're just going to break the rules and say, yeah, we don't care. You know, he's our guy.
Yeah.
Not a good look in my eyes. Not a good look for me, Will. You know, they've lost in the Nonsense podcast, say that much.
And we were big Newcastle fans.
Well, you know, whatever chance they had of turning around with us, they've blown it, Will. I'm not in favour of those Saudis and what they're doing. Not after this. Breaking news, really breaking news from the past, because this has been announced a week ago
by Fabrizio Romano, who has now
football's biggest snitch.
Do you know what it's like? When young people are into wrestling,
yeah,
when they find out it's fake, generally they're like, right, I'm going to stop watching this.
Mm-hmm.
Or they become nerds and they start looking up the spoilers, the backstage things. That's what they become interested in.
Yeah.
Romano is like turning a bunch of young football fans into the behind the scenes people now, where it's like, Messi's going to win the Ballon d'Or in a week, everyone. I found out.
yeah.
Spoilers in football. It's insane.
We were saying this about the transfers, that like some transfers were ruined by the kind of like, we need the information for everyone else. You know? And again, I'm sure they went through the proper channels, but there should be less channels. There should be, you got to keep these things tight. They're announcing it now. A few of the results, some actual breaking news in past. Well, Jude Bellingham, Young Player of the Year, no surprise there.
No surprise. Yeah.
The Lev Yashin trophy for the best goalkeeper in the world. Yeah. Will, can you guess? Do you remember even the nominations for that?
Oh, I had no idea.
Think of inappropriate gestures during the World Cup.
Martinez won best goalkeeper.
Emiliano Martinez won best goalkeeper in the world, Will.
Right now. Not even right. 6 months ago.
Over the course of the year, he has been the best.
Yeah, what the fuck?
The best goalkeeper in the world is Arsenal Villa's Emilio Martinez. I mean, look, you know what? In a way, Will, I think this is nice because it should be a silly award thing. It shouldn't be, this is career defining. You know, it should be kind of like, you know what? You had a good year. Here's a pat on the back. Go back to the team sport, which is actually the important thing. And we'll go on with that. This kind of like, there's no way he's the best goalkeeper in the world, which is what my initial reaction is. I've been, conditioned by the whole coverage of it, like that this is important. Like, no, it's not.
Yeah. He wins a big golden glove.
Another phallic object to play around with, It's not really important, but my first reaction was that is bullshit. I was like, I agree with Bellingham, but not with that one. That is bullshit. Like, who cares really? What else do you have? The winner of the Gerd Muller Trophy, Erling Haaland, will.
So what's that, like best goal scorer, best striker?
Goal tally, perhaps. I mean, that's
Maybe
more a factual, because Gerd Muller scored a lot of fucking goals. Yeah, maybe that's like a factual award. I don't know. Gary Lineker, well, your friend Gary Lineker, presenting the Gerd Muller Trophy to Erling Haaland there. So yeah, the Ballon d'Or to come. Judging by Martinez, well, I think it's going to be Messi. I think Martinez on the nose there with that one.
Fabrizio Romano definitely commissioned a good few people for photoshops. I don't think he's doing that if Messi was not winning the Ballon d'Or. Confirmed.
Yeah, no, I think it's confirmed. Confirmed by the Nonsense Podcast from the past.
Yeah, in there before the official announcement. That's pretty good.
Yeah, so I think Messi win the Ballon d'Or. This will probably be his last one, I'd imagine. Will.
We've been saying it since we started this podcast, but this really does feel like the end of an era now, for sure.
For sure, this time, for real.
This one has to be.
I suppose the question is, like we were saying before, I think about the cooking. It's all about just like we live in the world of these kind of things are now important. Like the Ballon d'Or. It became very important because of Messi and Ronaldo. Obviously, Ronaldo now in Saudi Arabia and Messi in the MLS. You can't say for sure, but you'd imagine that'll be the end of them kind of come up with these awards. Will the Ballon d'Or still hold the same importance, or have we seen the peak of this? Have we seen like after when Messi, like this has been the whole thing is like Messi shouldn't get it, Messi is getting it, the World Cup is too important. It's all about Messi. It's not about like no one's saying someone else should win it. It's all about him. So when he's gone next year, we'll say. And it's between Victor Osimhen and whatever Haaland. Maybe the Premier League influence will offer a bit more. But my feeling on it is that it's going to lose its importance and it's going to go by, and we're not going to even remember it. Yeah,
I think so. Like, it will be interesting to see who takes up the mantle of like winning it. But because before, or when we started the podcast, we were talking about like, Haaland and Mbappe, that's the new Messi or Ronaldo.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually feel like that anymore. Like Haaland, like he will bang in goals, like a ridiculous amount of goals, but it's not the same level of player. And Mbappe as well, he's still doing it in PSG. Like, it doesn't mean as much as it was when Messi and Ronaldo were ripping it up. So yeah, I don't know what becomes now. Is it like a new player every year winning it, or? It's an interesting one. Yeah,
I think you'll see go back to that now, where like because you have a season where you're just in the zone.
Yeah,
you have an unbelievable season, and you are head and shoulders above. Messi and Ronaldo's happened through their whole career, where there's head and shoulders above everyone else. And there wasn't really an argument that, especially with attacking players, like, well, he didn't score as many goals.
Yeah, exactly. Assists, not as much.
That's just what it is. And even like the great midfield performances we saw over the years, like Pirlo and Xavi, it's just like you get mesmerized by like 60 goals in a calendar year. It's like, I mean, how many?
You can't compete.
How many Cruyff turns equals 60 goals?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially when it's kind of nuanced. It's like, it's hard to, you got to watch the games, which most people don't. But I can see the goals. I can watch them when I want. So I don't think anybody's going to have the same, crazy numbers, but you'll see players have unbelievable, say, Champions League semi-finals to finals, plus like big games in the league that, people will watch, Clásicos, that kind of thing. And that's all it'll take then, you know, and there won't be someone scoring 100 million goals that will just overshadow it.
Unless Haaland does that.
He might do, but I think it's unlikely that he will.
Yeah. And because it's funny in the league, like again, last year he scored, 50 something goals? But watching him week to week, you're like, yes, he is unbelievable. He scores fucking 50 something goals. But it's just like, it's different. It's just a different thing. It's just different to when you were watching those years with Messi and Ronaldo at their level. It's just a totally different impact on the games.
Yeah, because they would have, if that's what we say about Haaland, like he doesn't do anything kind of but score goals, kind of, or he doesn't fit into the system.
Yeah.
Like Ronaldo at Man United and at Real Madrid in the early days, I mean, he kind of did transition to, if I score a lot of goals, I will Ballon D'Or. I think he knew that.
Yeah.
And Messi, I think maybe he just slowed down. It's like, I'm just going to stay close to the goal and do a lot of walking. But at the start, they both, the way they moved with the ball,
Yeah.
it was like, oh, these players are different. Do you know what I mean? I see Haaland, yeah, he scores a lot of goals, and maybe that's the result of Ronaldo and Messi. But I've never seen him on the pitch going like, oh, this guy's just unplayable. You know?
Yeah. It doesn't feel like he's going to be like, people will talk about him in like 50 years. It's like, wow, he was fucking one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
He's a freak, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's just different.
No, again, I never watched Gerd Muller. He was in the 70s, but
Yeah.
he's got a rake of goals. But everyone talks about Johan Cruyff from back then. They don't talk about Gerd Muller as much because he scored a great, unbelievable finisher. But the effect that Cruyff would have in the game and some of the stuff he would do, Messi and Ronaldo were the same way. They'd get the ball and the pace and the balance they had was like, like these guys are crazy. These guys are absolutely just different from everyone else. And then, like I said, they transitioned into more like ridiculous goal scoring. But I think you won't see that again for a long while. So I think for the next 10 years or so, it's going to be, say, Ozyman is going to win the Champions League or something. And it's like, oh yeah, he was better this year.
Yeah.
And I think they'll go back to that, you know.
Because even you don't really hear people talking about, like, say, a Van Nistelrooy, who was similar to Haaland.
Yeah.
Fucking 50 goals in a season. Unbelievable. But then it's just like, it gets washed away over time.
It's just numbers, you know. It's just numbers. And if you didn't see it, it's like, you know, it's not that impressive on a screen. But if you remember watching, say, Ronaldinho, didn't score many goals as players around the same time, but everyone remembers the games they watched him play because, like, oh, how's he doing that with his legs? You know? I don't think enough times I've seen Haaland and said, how's he doing that with his legs?
Yeah.
You know?
No. I always think, wow, he's tall.
And Mbappe is ridiculously fast, you know, and a good finisher, but never been like that's the thing about Neymar as well. He was another one where, the injuries there, but when you were watching play, you go, look at his legs. How's he doing that with his legs? They used to say, you know, that's the bar. It's like unbelievable finisher, great player, but if I'm not impressed by the agility of his legs, Will, then I'm not going to remember
mesmerized.
So, Will, thank you, I guess, to all the people who listen to the show. You're what keeps this thing going. That and the subscription to the podcast provider. But you, the fans, mainly, is what keeps this thing going.
Yeah.
And we're always very appreciative when you comment or you send in an email or a DM. There's about 3 or 4 different avenues that you could. We were on Facebook now as well. We started a Facebook page.
Yeah, we are.
Facebook is back, everybody.
Yeah,
get on
huge.
Facebook. Get back on Facebook and send us a messenger message. I think you can do it, can you?
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah.
That's crazy, folks. You can message us on Messenger. Did you know that?
It's so personal.
Did you know that you could do that, folks? Do it.
Here's the secret about Facebook, everyone. Because everyone stopped using it, now if you post something there, they'll fucking show it to anyone.
Yeah.
You get fucking 100,000 reach on your picture.
Think about it. Like, it's just you and the people from school you don't talk to anymore. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Get back on Facebook, everyone. We're back on Facebook. We're
Yeah.
on Instagram, we're on Twitter, all those things. So, yeah, we encourage you all to send in constructive or abusive messages. And if you like, we can read out on the show. If you say don't, we won't have to.
Yeah.
There's
There's no binding contract.
We don't have to. We want to sometimes, But yeah, no. What I'm leading up to is someone has actually messaged us. Someone has done our job for us and contributed to the show. Do you want to go ahead and read it out?
I wish I could give this feeling. I wish I could give this feeling. Come on.
So on our Instagram, which is no_nonsense_pod, which I think that's the tag for all of our social media as well.
It's very similar,
Yeah. We trying some new things out there, seeing what works. One of the things we did was a bit of good old fashioned engagement baiting. And boy did it work.
Yeah, we're trying to make €1 million by the end of the month, everybody. So everybody contribute to that, like and share, $1 million a month.
We had a picture up as that age-old debate. Picture of Rooney, Henry, and Aguero, and simply asked who was the best. We got a good few people commenting across all the different platforms, even on TikTok, where I discovered you can just upload a picture and people will still comment on it. I didn't know that. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. You can just post anything up there now.
Can people message us on TikTok?
Yeah, you can DM on TikTok.
Folks, did you hear that? You can message us on TikTok now. Just like Messenger. Sorry, Will, I'm going to crush there. Go ahead.
So, long-time listener of the show and a frequent contributor, I would say at this stage. We've read out one of his escapades before on the Patreon, I think.
Yeah.
He replied to that post. Well, he DM'd us. He said, and I quote, "Stop it now, boys. I'm near an end of the day, working like a dog. Cuss before he winks, and you start winding me up. Aguero done this, but Rooney done another. Boys, I'm telling you now, let sleeping dogs lie. Handball or not, Henry was a talent like no other, and I've always said that. You can ask the boys. Want to hear no more about this? I've a lasagna in the oven, straight to sleep after that. Maybe pick this up tomorrow. I'm willing to hear you out, boys, but my wine won't be changed. Let sleeping dogs lie." He continues. Okay, granted, Rooney had huge days that rocked the football world, and Aguero has good manners, and good manners are very important in football and outside football. Please, thanks, and you're welcome go a long way in this world. Sergio is consistent that way. Anyways, as I said, we're finished talking about this now, and I'll be open to listening to you tomorrow. He then continued. So we had posted a poll of would you choose Ramsdale or Raya?
Oh, yeah.
Lar replied, "I've nearly scaled myself off the cheese from lasagna that was too hot to eat because of that." I don't know where 4-year-olds only respond to this poll, because anyone with a developed brain puts Ramsdale in the sticks. I'll leave it at that. Keep up the glorious work with the pod, but don't be trying to get at me with these questions. Bedtime here for me, and I'm all wound up over you. Burnt my lip off the cheese and lasagna, but look, that's besides the point. Ramsdale all day for me, boys. Maybe you can update the poll. Not sure if that's possible. Could swing a vote. Anyway, right boys, enough chat. We'll be tuning in next week. Shout out to my godfather, Donald O'Leary from Clough, County Cork. Can't see why you wouldn't do that, to be honest. Let Will and Cahill know I said hello, and they're funny bastards. I do be cracking up half the time, absolutely bulling the other half of the time because of this tripe sound.
Well, first things first, shout out to Donald Leary. Happy birthday, I think, or whatever. Congratulations on your achievement.
Tell you, no other football podcast is getting that level of DM.
Second of all, I don't know if Aguero has good manners, by the way. Is it good manners to spend 10 years in the country and pretend you don't speak their language just to have the interviews?
He was an arsehole during the World Cup celebrations, remember?
He was lapping it up. I mean, I don't know if that comes into good manners or just kind of poor taste. But yeah, I can't say I would agree on Aguero's good manners. I don't have enough information on that one. Yeah, look, the Henry one it's definitely it's a tough one, isn't it? Because of the history, Will.
Yeah, and it was essentially what I've learned from the replies was, I would say the overwhelming majority said Henry.
Yeah.
But anyone who said Rooney was a United fan. Anyone who... Actually, no one said Aguero because there was no City fans replying to it. But I think that was the general consensus. Football fans, Henry. Biased United fans, Rooney.
Yeah. No, I think it is pretty clearly Henry in my mind as well. But like, you know, it's tough because a lot of different things in it. It's the England Man United stuff as well. And then Henry afterwards in his punditry career is the worst.
He's so unlikable.
He's so unlikable, extremely arrogant. He tries to be humble. Like, I know you're trying to be humble, but you do think you're the best because you are very good. You know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, all these things come into it, and you forget. You know, you forget the goal, you forget the things. You just see the moments, and yeah, honestly, ever since he was voted the best foreign player in some Sky countdown show,
he's lost the run of himself.
He's lost the run of himself from there. You know. Because I think he went to Barcelona. I wouldn't say he was humbled, but I think a little bit he was like, okay, right. I mean, there is probably a little bit of levels going on as well. Arsenal is, at the time anyways, a big fish in kind of small pond, you know. Yeah, they went invincible, but like going to Barcelona, I'd say it was a completely different animal. And then under Pep, and a completely different manager from Henry by all accounts, or from Arsene Wenger by all accounts. So yeah, I think I humbled him a little bit, but in his post-career, I think... yeah. You know what? Rooney was actually going to New York that time.
He came back wearing turtlenecks. And
he loved that lifestyle. You know, he loved being a rich guy in New York, and he wouldn't. You know,
I always remember there was a mode in FIFA for a few years called the Journey.
Mm-hmm.
There was this thing where it was like a movie basically where you played this fake character called Alex Hunter.
Yeah.
And one of the cutscenes was you go to a cool rooftop New York party and you meet Rio Ferdinand and Henri. And I remember seeing that and thinking, they're characters in this like cutscene, but this is what they think they are themselves.
Yeah.
He's like cool, like hanging out with like celebrities at rooftop pool parties. It's a far cry from what you were a few years ago, boys.
It's fair enough. I think the one or the other this week goes to Henri. So thanks everybody who voted on the poll. We're going to try and do that every week. We're going to have a one or the other, no nonsense style. Give us an answer. Don't give me nuances about careers or injuries or expectations or who started young and who had more money in the team. One or the other, folks.
Yeah, one or the other. Pick one. We've got a few new followers from that on Twitter and things like that. So,
very good.
Yep, a few new listeners, and so we'll be doing more things like that. And if you fire your opinion at us, it might get read out on the show.
Yeah, and we're going to make $1 million a month, folks.
Yes, when we make the Twitter money, we all make the Twitter money.
€1 million a month, that's the goal. You're all involved. You won't see any of the money. We'll keep all the money.
I will say as well, remember we said last week football Twitter was in a bit of trouble?
Yeah.
A note to end on, they might be in even more trouble. Did you see now if a post gets community noted, so like if the actual truth goes under it?
Not the actual truth, Will.
That post is no longer eligible for monetization.
Oh, well, that's
so it's chaos on Twitter right now.
That's changed everything.
Yeah, you can't just say what you like anymore to make millions.
I will say as well on that because I've become so cynical now because of I know that there's Twitter money and verification and all that stuff. You saw the John Walters boot giveaway.
I did see that. Yeah. Hey, like and share, maybe comment.
Maybe I'll pick a winner somehow. And he was like, God, I wish there was a better way to do this. And all of the replies are like, you should do a raffle on one of the many websites or apps and give it to charity. It's like, hey, it looks like it's Nike Tempos this week. Like and share like and share by 5 p.m. to get these boots. But the best thing as well, and it shows I think the how much the Premier League has grown in its short life. Will, there's one image on it, I sent it to a few people because it just like I say, it shows where Premier League players were at. Yeah, it's a picture of some of John Walters' many pairs of boots.
Yeah,
and you kind of think John Walters, very good player, very good professional, consistent, play well for Ireland as well, by the way.
Yeah,
but you don't think that he was like a top star at any point in his career.
No,
I think he'd admit that too. Yet he was getting personalized boots sent to him by Adidas that he wasn't even wearing. He got a boot, a box here that he posted on Twitter during one of his giveaway. Strike it as hard as you can, so it gets there before the keeper can even move. Impossible is nothing. That's from Adidas. They're sending John Walters personal messages of boots, and he wouldn't even wear them. Like, yeah, whatever, Adidas. Well, put them in the pile of all the other boots I don't bloody wear.
I have my boots.
I'm going to put this in the. I don't have time to read this. I have to go to a pool party with Alex Hunter and Thierry Henry in New York. Okay,
Alex Hunter doesn't know the next step of his career. He needs guidance.
He needs sage advice from me, John Walters, Adidas ambassador, apparently.
He's crawling out of his room with millions of boots.
Oh, they've put another Ferrari in the drive. I can't get out. God.
Honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense.
They say many garbage things.
You don't know what you're going to get.
Melodrama upon melodrama.
This is a
Shameful, disgraceful piece of nonsense.
He was miles off it yesterday.
You'll learn a lot more if you listen rather than talk all the
Plenty of
time.
time, no problem.